My name is Harper Collins, and last night my sister looked me in the eye and said, "We just want to live without you," Lauren says as if she's reading the weather. The spaghetti is cooling, and my name is already past tense. The words land in the middle of the table like an object no one wants to touch. Steam still rises from the bread, but the warmth in the room has already collapsed. I glance at each of them, mother staring at her glass-rimmed father absorbed by a chip in his mug, Derek smirking into his slice of bread. Their silence is louder than any verdict. The hallway bulb has been dead for 2 weeks. Nobody has thought to replace it because the ladder is always moved by me. That absence glows at the edge of my mind, proof of what dies when I step back. I place my fork down slowly, steadying my hands on the table. The impulse to argue sparks, then fizzles. Arguing would grant them more power than they've earned. Okay, I answer not consent, but record. Lauren barely blinks as though she'd rehearsed this line in front of the mirror. Derek clears his throat like he's part of a committee. No offense. She's just saying what everyone's thinking. Everyone. A word that erases choices. The family has already voted, and my chair is the seat of the defendant. Patricia sighs, not looking up. "Let's not fight," she offers softly, but then like an afterthought that isn't. She slides in her request. "Harper, can you cover the power this once?" The bill came again. My chest stays still, though my pulse tugs against my skin. I already paid it. I don't answer. I memorize the moment like an entry in a logbook. Tuesday, October 24, 8. 12 p.m. request. Repeated contribution erased. Gerald shifts scratches. His temple doesn't interfere. He's an expert in silence. I stand, gather my plate, rinse it in the sink. The faucet drips its same rhythm, another neglected repair. My reflection stares back from the window over the sink blurred by condensation. My name has already been cut out of this family ledger. Maybe that's why I feel more like a ghost than a daughter. The chipped mug rests on the counter. My father drinks from it every night, though he never fixes it. He waits for someone else. He waits for me. And now they've decided they no longer want what I provide. I dry my hands and open my phone under the counter. My thumb hovers, then moves with the precision of muscle memory. A new folder, case file, Collins household. Inside it will go receipts. Notices every unpaid proof. Not feelings, not arguments. Evidence. Lauren laughs, suddenly too light for the words she used earlier. Derek joins in with a smirk. They mistake my quiet for surrender. They always have. My strength has never been in volume. It's been in recording, in remembering. I leave them at the table and climb the stairs. The dead bulb watches me pass, still dark, still waiting. In my room, the duffel leans against the wall, my uniform hung with care. I close the door and slide open the drawer. The manila folder waits. Receipts. Utilities lease. I lay it flat on the desk like a map, steady hands smoothing its edges, the air taut with everything unsaid. Bedroom door closed, I slide out a manila folder labeled Receipts, Utilities, Lease, and lay it flat like a map. Numbers never lie. People do. I write the first entry in ink. The desk lamp forms a sharp cone on the ledger. The fan ticks, and downstairs the house eats without thought. I mark the date, Wed Oct 25, and note, facts, rent share, paid power, covered, request, repeated. Lines are square, as if neat borders could cage betrayal. Sergeant Miller once said, "No fight is won without records." His voice steadies me when a text from Lauren arrives, optimizing space. Space, a polite word for exile. I step into the kitchen where she and Derek lounge. "I'm paying exactly 1/4 from now on," I state. "Utilities, rent, groceries, my share." She tilts her head, cool as porcelain. "Don't be so defensive." Derek grins at her phrasing. I file the exchange verbatim, time witnesses words, not diary evidence. By noon, a delivery truck grinds to a halt. A tower of parcels waits, bright labels in bold, ring light, kit, softbox, USB mic arm. Addressed to Lauren Collins, future studio equipment. I photograph each label, the house number clear, and paste them in the ledger. Commercial gear deliveries. House rules ban unpermitted filming. The violation writes itself. Patricia hums through the hall, delighted. Exciting, she says, eyes fixed on the boxes, not me. Gerald fetches mail without comment. His silence has always been cover. That night, I tape receipts onto clean paper ink, the second date through Oct 26. The ledger is gaining weight. Near midnight, the printer downstairs chatters awake. I find a page half hidden under a magazine. Subject: room plan, timing. From Lauren to Patricia, CC Derek. They describe me as military rigid, unlikely to fight, easier to move once she's off the lease. Bullets follow, push me off. Repurpose my room. Schedule content. I bring it upstairs and secure it behind the shipment photos. It sits there like a smoking gun. Derek's voice drifts from Lauren's room, joking about the fire lighting. I log the dates, sender names, and note gear arrived before any official notice. I keep sentences clipped so no one can accuse me of exaggeration. After one, fatigue presses, but a path clears. I text Naomi, price needs gray sections for lease termination. Reservist orders apply. Her reply, 50 USC, par of 3955, checklist for notice, copy of orders, phrasing. Another line, document everything. You already are. I read the statute 3 times until it beats steady under my ribs. The law isn't anger, it's leverage. I write one last line. If I'm invisible to them, they won't see me coming. I scroll to the lease addendum PDF. My name sits first on the signature line. I screenshot it and title the image, leverage.png. Silence is a tactic. Paperwork is a weapon. I slide the blue binder across Mr. Bennett's desk. The morning has that October bite that forces every breath into a small plume. I pause in the Reserve Center parking lot, gloves tucked under my arm, rereading Naomi's checklist on my phone, orders, statute, receipts, parcel photos, lease, addendum. The screenshot from last night glows on the screen. My name first on the lease line, like a target already painted. By the time I cross the lot, resolve hums under my ribs. Inside, Bennett Properties. The office hums with a muted printer. The blinds, half-open stripes of cold daylight falling across framed policies. Deposit, refund, tenant obligations, commercial use, prohibition. I place my binder in the center of Mr. Bennett's desk. He adjusts his glasses, neutral face, unreadable. Training orders, I say, sliding the first sheet. Reservist. 50 USC, parf. 3955, effective 30 days from notice. He reads, lips moving silently, then nods once. Acknowledged. No penalty. Termination clause applies. He lifts his pen, signs across the acknowledgement line, and slides it back for my signature. Pen to paper, and the exit shifts from theory to fact. We move through the evidence pack. Ledger of support. I announce opening to receipts, groceries, utilities, dates, and amounts. Next, deposit receipt, $1 and $600 paid from my account. Then repair invoice, $240, outlet fix, also paid directly. Bennett initialed each document with small ticks. I lay out parcel photographs, shipping labels sharp against the page. Ring light, kit, softbox set, USB mic arm. Not household equipment, I say evenly. Commercial gear. Delivered Oct 25. Addressed to Lauren Collins. Bennett flips to the lease policies framed above his desk and recites without emotion. No unregistered occupants. No commercial use without landlord consent. He glances at me. Documented violations. Useful context. I nod, fingers steady. It isn't glee, it's precision. Every item takes its place, forming a spine no argument can bend. When the binder closes, Bennett leans back. Next step, lease requalification. Saturday, 6 p.m. All occupants must attend. Signatures required. That meeting will reset terms or terminate occupancy. I noted in my phone. A calendar ping schedules itself lease requalification tomorrow, 6:00 p.m. The words are both clinical and surgical. Later at the corner coffee shop, Naomi sits across from me with a small laptop open, her hands wrapped around a paper cup. Script the sequence, she says. We build it line by line: who introduces evidence, who reads policies aloud, what order the receipts follow. She closes loopholes with a lawyer's reflex. No stray phrases, no room for sentimental derailment. I don't chase approval. I tell, her voice low over the clatter of cups. I document reality. She smiles without warmth. And tomorrow, reality gets a microphone. I tuck the sealed envelope into my tote, notice printed in block letters. The paper inside carries more weight than any raised voice. A calendar ping vibrates again, final and cold. Lease requalification tomorrow, 6:00 p.m. I draw the tote closed and walk out into the wind. Tomorrow, truth gets a microphone. Mr. Bennett sets a thin stack at center stage. Let's align the facts with the lease. The room feels like a small courtroom with better lighting. The vent hum above us matches the one from the kitchen 2 nights ago, except here, the hum is preserved in minutes. A camera blinks red from the corner. An assistant waits with pen poised. This is no family dinner. This is record. We sit in a neat row at the wooden table. Lauren folds her arms, face trained into brittle confidence. Derek slouches, chin cocked as though the outcome is guaranteed. Patricia scans the policies framed on the wall, bargaining expressions flickering across her face while Gerald hides in silence. I sit straight, binder open, every page already numbered. Bennett begins. Occupancy roll call. Each occupant state their name as it appears on the lease. Patricia Collins, Gerald Collins, Lauren Collins. Then Derek clears his throat. Derek Shaw. I live here. Bennett doesn't glance up. Not listed. He lifts a sheet. Video logs confirm regular overnight residence. Neighbor affidavit corroborates. His voice stays flat, but the weight is unmistakable. Unauthorized occupant violation. Lauren's mouth opens, closes. Derek shrugs, slouch tightening into defense. I mark the moment silently, first fracture. Bennett flips to the next section. Payment history. A timeline of late fees beams from the projector. Dates align precisely with when I withdrew to 1/4 contributions. The chart suggests delinquency everywhere, except my row. I lift the ledger of support, place it square on the table. Receipts. Fanned utilities, groceries, repairs. Every amount documented. Every date logged. The assistant leans forward to note my phrasing. Silence fills the room. Not protection this time, but exposure. The script Harper is the problem curls like burnt paper. Bennett nods, once turns to the household. Ledger confirms proportional payments. Late fees accrue solely to remaining tenants. Patricia inhales sharply. Gerald rubs his temple, but neither speaks. I open the binder's next sleeve. Parcel photos spread across the table. Ring light, kit, softbox, USB mic, arm. Each label addressed to Lauren. Delivered Oct 25. I point to the framed clause above Bennett's head. No commercial filming or live streaming without permit. Then I slide the printed email thread, highlighted lines, visible, convert Harper's room. Content schedule. Lauren's cheeks color, her fingers digging into the table edge. That's out of context. Context is documented, I answer steady. Intent date and sender. Bennett aligns the papers in front of him. Violations, unauthorized occupant commercial use plan without authorization. Consequences as follows. He reads like a judge issuing sentence. SERA release stands. Effective 30 days from notice. His pen taps the statute copy. Deposit refund $1,600 plus $240 repair reimbursement payable directly to payer of record Harper Collins. He shifts to the other side of the table. Remaining tenants must requalify without Harper. Option A, remove Mr. Shaw immediately. Option B, register him, subject to income verification and increased deposit. All late fees remain with current occupants. Commercial use is prohibited absent permits. The assistant adds quietly, almost gentle credit thresholds likely unmet. Higher deposit probable. Derek flinches at the word credit. I close the binder's spine firm against my palm. I did not raise my voice. I raised my standards. Lauren leans toward me, hiss sharp across the polished wood. You humiliated me. I slide the binder into my tote. Truth did. Bennett looks at Derek last. Provide ID within 24 hours or vacate. I walk out first. The door clicks shut behind me, final as a gavel. Applause isn't coming. Peace is. I slide the deposit refund into my wallet and breathe like the air belongs to me again. Morning light fills the studio through a bare window, a bulb flooding the floor without permission. The room is spare clean counterboots by the door uniforms hung with exact spacing. I tape a sheet to the fridge. 30, 60, 90 budget goals credential upgrade mentor sign up. A coffee maker hums on the counter cord tucked neat. The foundation is mine, not borrowed. I open a high-yield savings and call it Harper Reserve. A portion of the refund transfers there. Watching the balance settle feels like stepping onto steady ground. The hallway bulb at the old house once waited for my ladder. This one shines without asking. I don't fix what isn't mine anymore. By mid-morning, I'm on the reserve center track, cooling down in the chill air. My breathing is measured, not hasty. A missed call from Patricia flashes. Her text follows. We're family. I draft a reply. Leave it unsent. Boundaries are also love. My screen clears as I lace my shoes. An email from Mr. Bennett arrives. Derek must register or vacate. Requalification requires a higher deposit due to credit. Late fees remain with them. No commentary, just dates and amounts. Consequences land exactly where they belong. Back at the studio, the first cup of coffee fills the air with warmth. No footsteps, no demands. I sketch my weekly budget: rent, utilities, groceries with a box labeled Give. Later, I'll mark it complete. The afternoon is errands stripped of shadows, lamp, dish rack, one print for the wall. Cardboard is folded flat and stacked away, no mess left waiting. The old house lived in avoidance. This one speaks of order. Evening, I meet Naomi at the cafe. She arrives early, laptop open. We run my spreadsheet line by line until she taps the final cell. You're solvent and sovereign. I nod and donate part of the refund to a veteran support fund. The receipt dings softly, closing the loop. What once covered their negligence now builds forward. We map the mentor rotation sign-up. I choose dates that leave space for rest. Naomi smiles when I note them in ink. Simple, she says, clean. She means more than the schedule. Night folds in. The studio lamp pools on the desk. I pull out the ledger, flip to the final page, and listen. Refrigerator hum, faint cars, silence that doesn't feel like exile. Then I print the last line, case closed. The pen falls with the sound of a gavel. Another email from Bennett confirms refund dispersed, requalification clock ticking. I archive it without hesitation. Relief is measured not in applause but in clean endings. I rinse the one mug I used today, rack it dry. The boots wait by the door, not baggage, but tools. The window bulb casts a steady circle, proof I no longer need to hold doors open for those who loved the draft. Before bed, I check the fridge sheet, budget set, credentials marked mentor slot noted. Promises here weigh light enough to carry. A text arrives from Sergeant Miller, female mentor needed next cycle. Interested, I glance at the boots still upright waiting. Send the schedule. I've shared with you a journey that was never about applause, but about reclaiming my dignity. If my story resonated, I ask you to stand with me. Share your thoughts in the comments. Tell me if you would have had the strength to choose discipline over noise. Your words aren't just feedback, they're proof that quiet resilience matters. Let me know how you see me not as a victim, but as someone who built order out of chaos. Support me by adding your voice because each comment turns my solitary ledger into a community that believes in truth over pretense.